Hello everyone, welcome in this new episode where I want to go a little bit deeper on the concept of the Lifebook. I've spoken about it a couple of times already, and to give you a little bit more value, a little bit more texture, I want to dive a little bit deeper and how it's also connected to the PKS, the Personal Knowledgement system, where I talk about quite often. And I just had an idea and realization about what I felt like was kind of missing in this container, and I think that I kind of found it. So let's get into it. Good, really amazing. Um, the Lifebook concept says that you can separate your life into 12 different areas, and every area is built on comparison to the previous one. So health and fitness, you need a healthy body to live. You need your mind to work properly. You want to have your emotions in control. You can build a certain character so that people know what you expect from them. It's then that level of going within the spiritual life, your intimate relationship. So this is the first separation from the self. That person where you are emotionally and spiritually connected to. Then the family line, social life, the finance, the the career one, quality of life, and life vision. And I noticed myself because at this moment, the 5th month, we are within that Lifebook community. We're focusing on the spiritual one, and yesterday, no, already a couple of days ago, we were mentioning as in, yeah, but like, what is spiritual exactly? What does it mean for you specifically, as an individually? And that idea kind of was running through my head, and I think that I kind of found it where my personal missing link was comparison to this structure, which is, um, like I mentioned a little bit at the beginning, as in it starts with the self, and gets bigger and bigger. Intimate relationship gets bigger, the family gets bigger, the social life gets bigger, your financial, your physical things that you have around you get bigger. Then your career, like where do you want to create impact upon, which is also like quality of life. Me personally, that concept of, or sorry, that concept of the spiritual life is actually something that is deeper within me, that transcends that concept of health and fitness. So what I mean by that is something that Sadhguru mentioned, as in you are not your body and you are not even your mind. You are not your body and you are not even your mind. He also has an amazing meditation upon that. Because for me, the spiritual life means going within and being in direct connection with the thing that we call consciousness. So my focus point of paying attention or understanding something or knowing where something is, feeling something in the body. So for me personally, spiritual life comes first. As in, that's the observer. That's the starting point. That's the consciousness. That's the source, whatever you want to call it. And that kind of, we'll get later on that, like, it isn't even the me, but it's transcending the me. It's going into that universal layer. Good. All right. So first start with consciousness for me. So I'm thinking I'm going to rename it as well. And then we go into the health and fitness. And the health and fitness is the physical thing that you have around you. then I'm kind of thinking about, okay, is then the intellectual life then the third one, or the emotional life? Because based on my understanding, based on my practices that I'm doing, is the emotional life is the vibrational state of the body. So that means if your cells within your body are moving in a specific rate, in a specific, I can't even pronounce it anymore. Specific, specific. No, never mind. It's live. So whatever. I'm going to try it in a couple of minutes, so that will be fun. Um, but if the frequencies of this, if the cells are moving in a specific rate, hey, no, I said it correctly. Hey, um, then that is connected to a specific emotion that you can connect that to. Um, so that means that the like the emotional life is the body itself in a specific way. Now I'm overly doing the word. I noticed that. Um, so I'm kind of thinking about where is that emotional life is going through, but that's okay. So it starts with the spiritual one, health and fitness, intellectual life, emotional life, and then go into character. And possibly the one that I'm thinking about, like character actually becomes just after spiritual life, I believe. Because if we are tuning into that level of, okay, what's the deepest version of you, and then we can grow upon that one, then it starts with that spiritual one, character one, health and fitness, and then either emotional or intellectual, because they are so closely defined with each other. Intellectual is just a tool that we find very, very valuable as human beings. At least we think it is. And then we have that separation from the self to someone else. And then we get into the emotional, the intimate relationship, which I also renamed from the from the love one to the intimate. Because I mentioned that in one of the previous videos as well, is like quite often when we talk about a love relationship, we think about that as an romantically, like even physical, even sexually. But what I found, which is important for me, is like really finding that person being in that intimate level, as in, hey, this is the one person that I can open up with most. Like really opening up with that person emotionally, spiritually. So that's a very powerful one for me as an individual. And then, of course, the family, which is also a very nice one, and social life. And now that we're already here, the social life is a very interesting one because I am currently like listing out the people that I want to spend time with. So I choose to be around them. And there is a difference in depth between different friends. And some people mention that difference as in how often should I have contact with them, or do I want to have contact with them? Like daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, kind of to catch up or something like that. For me, as one of my belief systems is that time is so relative that it doesn't really exist. Um, like I don't really filter those categories of friends, of social life, within that time frame. What I kind of want to do more is, okay, who of my social life I feel most connected with in that emotional and spiritual level. So it's really an expansion from that intimate relationship. Because I I do have like a couple of friends that I'm like, whenever like we call, it's like 2 hours straight on, even if we didn't talk after a couple of months or even years. It's so nice to have those kind of friends. And those would be like the first tier of my social life friends. Like those kind of connections that I have. And that's a very powerful one to integrate properly. So I kind of want to stop it off with that one for the areas. But the reason why I mentioned this as it becomes a very useful tool for the personal knowledgement system is I've been using the personal knowledgement system for 2 years now within Notion. And now when I'm connecting all of this with the premise and the vision and the purpose within the Lifebook premise, within the Lifebook method, now I can see everything like lining up, coming together. And I still have some stuff, actions that I'm like with my coach on this one. I'm like, what's useful for this? Um, what is an example? Yeah, now we are at that state of sacred choices. So choosing your habits. I'm like, okay, but the sacred choice isn't a habit. For me, at least, it isn't. Like, for me, a sacred choice of drinking 2 liters of water, it's not a sacred choice. It is just me having that habit built in. And if you're not doing that, okay, what can you do to the environment to make that happen? So for me, that's not a choice. Um, so that's kind of like a little nuance that I'm kind of struggling with and finding out insights from other people. Um, yeah, I'm listening for insights. Like, how do you do that? Like, what does that mean for you? And that's a very powerful one to learn to be in that state for yourself in such a way. All right, let me close it off with this one. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.